Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of the Gaming Gang. So if this is your first time joining me, welcome aboard. Kick back, relax, put your feet up, make yourself at home. We are certainly not performing rocket surgery around here by any stretch of the imagination. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So if you're into board games, role-playing games, card games, miniatures games, anything taking place on your tabletop, we're probably talking about it. Every once in a while, we will chat about some PC gaming, such as tonight, and pop culture every once in a while pops up. But for the most part, it's mainly tabletop gaming. If you are someone who watches all the time, a constant viewer, thank you for joining me once again. Of course, you got busy lives out there, so it means a lot for you to take time out of your busy schedules and hang out. Even with this knucklehead just pontificating. Of course, do what I mentioned. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the dispatch airs live Monday through Thursdays right here on YouTube, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my recent unboxing and first look at Cowboys 2, the Cowboys and Indians edition from Worthington Publishing. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, because this is a live stream, that also means that chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I do my best to follow along the chat. So I will do my best to respond. So let's see who was first out the gate today. It was Gary Clarkson saying hello to everybody. We got the madman, Mr. Eddie T, is joining us once again. So Eddie, are you watching on the TV? Or are you watching on the laptop? Because I believe that was the discussion yesterday, right? So a great A is with us, as well as Clint Gibson. And Kabuki Kid has arrived in chat. Double K's in the house. Cool deal. So we've got things cooking. So Mr. Eddie T says yes, they're using a tablet. And I guess the TV, I don't know. Maybe, could be. I don't know. All right. So off and running. Hey, Melwinius from York is in chat. We haven't seen Melwinius in a while. Good to see ya. So let me grab a quick sip here. We'll jump into the news in just a moment. But yes, who is it that just said happy Mars rover? There we go. Mars Lander Day. A great day, yes. Yes, Perseverance has arrived on Mars. Yeah, and the funny thing is, off the top of my head, I couldn't remember the name of the other Mars rover that originally was only supposed to have like power in that for what was it, 18 months? And about 18 years later, it was still kicking. So it was the little rover that could. And then, yes, unfortunately, it finally ran out of steam. So Kabuki Kid is pointing out that she's happy to see the landing was successful. Flaming Heron's in chat as well. Good to see Flaming Heron. Nice. There we go. Thank you, Double K. It was Curiosity. Yes, Curiosity was the other rover. It was, yeah. Cool deal. I thought that was an amazing story. Because it was the little rover that could just kept going and going. You know, that's what happens. They put Energizer batteries in it, and it just went to town. So Gary Clarkson, Gary Clarkson says now they want to play some Terraforming Mars because it's such a great game. I enjoyed Terraforming Mars as well. I introduced it to Elliot Miller, who had not had an opportunity to play it. Of course, he had heard of it. Who hadn't? But he had never had a chance to play until I brought it over one time. It's about 2 years ago, actually. So, Stronghold Games and I are kind of getting things back together. So, as the Great A mentioned, yes, Ares Terraforming Mars is on Kickstarter. It's actually more. I think it's more card game based with it. I think as far as Terraforming Mars goes, it's supposed to be a much more streamlined experience because let's be honest, sometimes that late game can kind of get bogged down, I guess we'll say. At least in my opinion. I know some people have talked about with Terraforming Mars, they don't care for the fact that you have to ramp up. And I actually like that. I don't see any problem with that at all. It's sometimes the late game, especially if you're playing very few players, it does seem to bog down a little bit. So Kabuki Kid was asking if anybody's ever played Leaving Earth. I have not. I have not played that. Grade A points out Terraforming Mars can last a long time. It is a cool game, though. I do definitely enjoy that. Don't get to play it as often as I'd like. I've played it solitaire a couple of times, but I got to be honest, there are other games I'd rather play solitaire. So when I'm in the mood to play a solitaire game, it's usually not Terraforming Mars. All right, let's jump on into the news because arriving in the second half of 2021 from Calliope Games. Oh, actually, I should point out today is Thursday, February 18th, 2021. This is live stream number 623. I forgot to point that out. Here I'm jumping into the news without even telling you what number show this is. So Great A says whenever they play Terraforming Mars, they usually have 2 to 4 hour games. And yes, they have it on Steam. I tried. Now I'm sure they have updated it quite a lot since I first got a preview code for the Terraforming Mars PC game. I didn't care for it much. I thought it was very, very clunky interface. And I was kind of surprised because I'm trying to remember, I thought it was put together by, gosh, now off the top of my head, I can't remember the company, but they've actually ported over a lot of board games to PC and mobile and stuff like that, but I don't know. All right, let's get back into the news here because arriving in the second half of 2021 from Calliope Games is Allegory. Here's what I know. An allegory tells a captivating story while hiding a deeper, meaningful moral underneath. Compete with others as renowned authors, each scribing a trilogy of tales, nature, energy, and spirit. Master the use of lore to incorporate powerful themes in your tales. At game's end, you'll be rewarded for weaving a hidden moral throughout all of your tales, but only the most concise tale shall become a literary classic for the ages. In Allegory, you are a mythic author. Bid using lore chips to collect theme cards to craft your tales, nature, energy, and spirit. In the end, you score only the tale with the lowest total value. Enhance your score by including sets of themes throughout the trilogy. Earn bonus points for including your moral in each tale. Player with most points has scribed a classic tale and mastered the allegory. Allegory is for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up. Plays in 30 to 50 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $25. It is not arriving until the second half of this year, so this is a later release. I don't know if we're talking summertime. Maybe we're talking the fall. I don't know. I definitely like the artwork on the cover. I can tell you that much. And the artwork on the cards looks pretty cool. So I actually took these images from the rules because outside of the rule book, the only image that's really out there that's available to utilize was the box cover. So there you go. All right, moving right along. I kind of mentioned this game a little bit previously, but let's actually talk about the actual news piece because hitting stores in April from my friends over at KOSMOS is Andor, the family fantasy game. Here's the skinny. In Andor, the family fantasy game, aka Andor Jr., that's what I guess it was originally going to be called. Each player chooses one of 4 heroes: magician, warrior, archer, or dwarf, before beginning their quest to rescue the wolf cubs lost in the dwarven mine. However, before beginning the search for the wolf cubs, the heroes must first complete the tasks given to them by Mart, the old bridge guard. Only after you've solved all of the bridge guard's tasks will he let you cross the bridge to the dwarven mines where you believe the wolf cubs are hiding. But watch out! While you're on the way, the sly dragon is getting closer to the castle right bag. Should it arrive at the castle before the heroes have completed their tasks and saved the wolf cubs, then all is lost and you lose the game. If you find all the wolf cubs before the dragon reaches Reitberg, you win. I find that a little odd. Sort of like, well, we found the wolf cubs, but the dragon's coming to destroy the town. Hey, at least we got these wolf cubs. Or I should say destroy the castle, not necessarily the town. Gameplay is similar to Legends of Andor, with each game offering new challenges, which you must master together before the dragon reaches Reitberg. Andor, the family fantasy game, is for 2 to 4 players, ages 7 and up, plays in 30 to 45 minutes. It is going to carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives in April. We'll point out this is not a game that I will be getting a look at. I will not be doing a review of this. As far as I know, I did mention to the fine folks over at KOSMOS, something like a game like this, if I do video on it, it's not going to get the kind of traction that they would like to see because I'm not known for like doing reviews of games for smaller kids. So cool to see them kind of making an introductory Andor game, though. I do like that. I think that's pretty wild. Moving right along, it is Thursday. So that means we've got free PC game action from the Epic Games Store. This week, we get a double dip. First is Absolute Drift, Zen Edition, from Funselektor Labs Inc. Drifting, the art of sideways sliding. Aha, so there we go. Now we know what drifting is. This is a drifting experience like no other. Journey from apprentice to master drifter as you hone your skill in a gorgeous, I should say, minimalist world. Push yourself to the limit on drifting tracks and wild mountain roads while you work to unlock trophies and elite events. Compete against ghosts of the top players in the world or refine your skills by outscoring your own ghost. Chill out to over 3 hours of original electronic music by C41 and NYTE as you challenge your driving skills at every turn until you finally master the art of drifting. Some of the key features include driving and customizing up to 6 drift cars, 3 game modes, Driftkana, drifting, and mountain drifting, with 34 levels. 5 free roaming areas, each with unique levels and themes, from airports and docks to a floating metropolis. Online leaderboards, replays, and ghost cars. View your friends' runs or the best in the world. And as mentioned, there is over 3 hours of clean drum and bass and electronic music. There is a short video to give you a better idea of what in the world this game is. So let's take a peek.
Drifting. The art of sliding sideways. You, my child, have much to learn about drifting. So very much to learn. But one day, with patience and determination, you, my child, will become a drifting master.
There you have Absolute Drift Zen Edition. And yes, the greatest, like, LOL, that voiceover. I know. First time I heard it, I'm thinking, so is that supposed to be over the top or? Because I know Vlad the Drifting Father is what Grade A says. Eddie says, yeah, what's with the Count Dracula? Honestly, to me, it sounded more like it was over the top Asian than anything else. Although I gotta be honest, I only watched the video once. And then I checked to make sure that it would not set off a copyright infringement. So it's all good with that. So Flaming Heron is mentioning that they like the new thumbnail design for the TGG Dispatch. Yes, it is TGG. Remember, gang, it is the Gaming Gang, not Gaming Gang. So, yes, the official title of the site for the past 11 years has been the Gaming Gang. So the Madman says, wasn't drifting popular in Japan originally? To be honest, I think drifting was a big deal in a lot of the racing games. It's a great. It says, it's Count Driftula. So, you want to be able to drive the cars. Flaming Urine says, I did say the GG. Yes, but the abbreviation is TGG. So, Melwinius points out they remember drifting from Need for Speed. All right, so as I mentioned, we got a double dip of free PC gaming action because we also have Rage 2, which is from id Software, Avalanche Studios, and Bethesda Softworks. An asteroid has annihilated 80% of the Earth's population, and humanity's numbers are dwindling. Ruthless and bloodthirsty gangs roam the open roads, and the tyrannical authority seek to rule with an iron fist. Damn you, authority! As Walker, the last ranger of the wasteland, Walker, Texas Ranger, right? Of course, he'd be a little chilly now, wouldn't he? As Walker, the last ranger of the wasteland, and a threat to their power, you've been robbed of your home and left for dead. Now you'll have to rage for justice and freedom. With ludicrous vehicle combat, superpowered first-person mayhem, and an open world full of emergent madness, you'll tear across an unforgiving wasteland, battling sadistic gangs to find the tools and tech needed to crush the oppressive rule of the authority once and for all. Rage 2 is a first-person shooter in an open-world post-apocalyptic setting. Players assume the role of Walker, one of the last survivors of an attack on the secluded enclave known as Vineland. Players have control over some of Walker's characteristics, such as their gender, skills, and attire. Walker wields various firearms and tools to fight against enemies, including traditional guns like a shotgun and pistol, the boomerang-like wing stick, and sci-fi weapons like the grav dart launcher. Over the course of the game, players will acquire new skills and abilities like overdrive, which significantly increases the power and effectiveness of their attacks, shatter, which pushes back enemies, and slam, which propels Walker in the air before slamming down onto enemies, dealing damage and throwing them back. Enemies in Rage 2 consist of different types of human bandits, human-sized mutants, cyborg mutants, and enormous super mutants. Rage 2 also features vehicular combat and racing, with the player being able to drive any vehicle in the game world. So we do have the launch video for Rage 2, but I'm going to play it without any sound because the music will flag me for copyright infringement. But I do want to show you what's going on. Actually, it's not a bad idea for me not to be playing the audio because there's a lot of F-bombs being dropped. I was like, whoa. So this is a game for mature audiences, just so you know. So Doug Roberts is in chat with us as well. So let's jump on in. I will share the video here. And I am actually leaving my mic open. So that you're not sitting here for like 2 minutes of complete and utter silence. All right. So Kabuki Kid says they've got Rage 2. They had not played it yet. But the first Rage was a fun first-person shooter, but maybe had one of the worst endings that they've ever seen for a game. Yikes. It's a Mad Max kind of thing. So Kabuki Kid says those rally guys are crazy. So this, I mean, Fleming here says we're all adults here, I assume. Yes, I do assume. And of course, I always make sure that I mark my videos as not being made for kids. That's right. It's not made for kids, kids. Because there's a lot of dismemberment going on here. There's a lot of violence here. So who was the developer? I think it was id Software. I think it was id Software and let me zip back up here and I'll tell you. Avalanche Studios. I almost said Annihilation Studios. I'm like, no. I think Bethesda basically just did the release of it. So I have heard that a lot of people hated this game. So I got to be honest, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty interesting. I usually go over to Steam to take a peek to see what people think of the stuff that's going to be free on the Epic Games Store. And this does have mixed, which I looked at some of the reviews. Some people were saying they didn't understand why so many people disliked it, and others were like, "Yeah, I don't know." They're like, "I don't know." It's like, I don't like it. Hey, but it's free. So is John Romero still at id? I don't think so. I think John is long gone. I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but yeah, I don't think he's affiliated with them anymore. Yeah, back in the day, boy, he was a big name. What was the game that basically kind of kind of blew up his career? Wasn't it like the first person, like you were a ninja kind of thing? But I mean, it was like Doom, but I can't remember the name of it. Shadow Ninja or something like that. I don't know. I got to be honest. I played Doom back when it originally came out. I played some Castle Wolfenstein or Stein or whatever the hell. Um, and what else? Little Duke Nukem. I thought Duke Nukem was funny. You know, the original Shadow Warrior. Yeah, I think that was it. I think Shadow Warrior was the one that kind of kept people like were upset about. I don't know. I gotta be honest. It's all kind of so far in the rear view mirror there. All righty. Anyway, you can score both Absolute Drift Zen Edition, which has very, very popular, positive reviews of it. And it does look kind of interesting, although I would probably be sitting there getting mad at myself for screwing up. I didn't drift enough, or I drifted too much. I missed all those sweet scoring boxes. Anyway, you can get Absolute Drift Zen Edition and Rage 2 absolutely free over at the Epic Game Store through 10 a.m. Central Time, February 25th. Eddie T says they thought Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 were pretty fun. I got to be honest, I never played it. I did not play. I got to be honest. I mean, a lot of the first person stuff, the really blocky first person stuff, I didn't really play much of. Although I do remember good old Ultima Underworld because it was one of the first games I actually fell out of my chair playing. Turned a corner and there was a beholder, and I was like, ah! No joke. And it was because I had gone through that area. I thought I'd cleared everything out. So, anyway, let's talk about some role-playing game news because there is a fresh bundle of holding that's arrived. It's loaded with new school games of the OSR. So, it is, I would say, new games that have a fresh approach to the old school renaissance. I've got the scoop on old school cool. Adventurer. Old School Cool brings you tabletop role-playing games and source books with stylish new takes on the old school revival spirit, I say renaissance, of role-playing's earliest days. This all-new offer presents Ben Dutter's Vagabonds of Dyfed. I don't think it's Dyfed. I think it's got some kind of an odd kind of pronunciation. Dertaka, Hypertolerians from Motocross Machinations. Diogo Nugara's Rules Light, Sharp Swords, Solar Blades, Dark Street Games, and more. For just $7.95, you'll get all 5 titles in the starter collection with the retail value of $33 as DRM-free PDFs, including Vagabonds of Jaifu, Pariah, Sharp Swords and Sinister Spells, plus its addendum rules expansion, and Fallen Justice. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $18.54, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 7 more titles worth an additional $56.50, including Hypertolerians, Dertoka City on the Sea of Glass, Solar Blades and Cosmic Spells, and its adventure, The Egyptian Situation from Outer Time, and Dark Streets and Darker Secrets, plus its GM screen and vampiric supplement, Streets of Blood. These savings will run through March 8th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this Old School Cools Offers pandemic-related charity, Direct Relief. Nice. Hang on one second. Had a hair, one of the cat hairs, like kind of hanging off my nose. It's like, whoa, gotta get rid of that. It's driving me nuts. And I didn't want it to look like I was picking my nose, folks, because that's all I would need. Hey, man, did you see that dude from the gaming gang's like show the other night? I mean, right in front of everybody, he was like digging in his nose. It was gross, man. Anyway, some goodies here. So a grade 8 points out that Sharp Swords is good. I have seen the PDF. I have not had a chance to actually read through it, but I have it. And as far as I understand, I think it's kind of similar to a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of, to some of the other OSR games out there. I think it utilizes some stuff from like the Black Hack. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I actually think the Black Hack's kind of cool. But I have not had a chance to read through it. So the Madman says, I hate when cat hair goes up my nose. Well, the thing is, that doesn't usually happen. But, and it's funny because honestly, you probably don't see this. But on occasion, all of a sudden, they'll just see this little like puff of hair just kind of floating on past the camera. And of course, it's closer to me, so I see it. But I would think the only time you would get to actually see something like that is if I'm like full screen. So Jason Herrick has arrived in chat. Let's see, anybody, did we have anybody pop in that I've missed that I haven't said hello to? I think we are good. Because I always do my best to say hi. I think I didn't say hi to Doug Roberts. I think that's who it is. Because I'm sitting there like, wait a second, I think there's somebody I forgot to say hello to. So, big hello to Doug as well as Jason. Thanks for coming in and hanging out on what's essentially my Friday night. All right. So, actually, this is a pretty cool bundle of holding. It's not jam-packed with stuff. There's fewer PDFs than we're used to seeing. But there's some pretty solid goodness here because Sharp Swords and Solar Blades, Cosmic Spells, and Dark Streets and Darker Secrets all kind of utilize the same system, except they just happen to have different genres that they tackle. So very cool. There you go. And Sarah D is lurking in the corners again. Good to see you, Sarah. Thanks for popping in and at least and saying hello. So the Madman says, I'm used to those floating hairs, especially when I turn the ceiling fan on. 3 cats, 2 are long-haired. There are 2 cats here. One is my cat. The other is my dad's cat. And I got to be honest. I think Pinky, who is the one that we wheel from time to time here, who was actually down here a little bit earlier, but we were just going to the Absolute Drift video, so you didn't hear her yelling at the water. Damn you, water! I'm going to lick some of you now. No joke. She complains at the water. But yeah, she tends to. It's her hair more than Smokey's hair that I see. So anyway, Enough about cat hair, right? So Doug says, you said hi to me earlier. You can say it again if you want. Well, I happen to be one of these people. I always want to try to go a little bit. I know it's not like an extra mile, extra few feet, and say hello to folks who pop in and say howdy in chat. Just how I was raised. All right. So let's move on to our last news piece because now available in PDF from Third Eye Games is Infinite Sparks, a part-time God second edition companion. Here's the dope. Unfortunately, I only have this image too. I wish I had more images to share with you. The challenge facing modern gods may seem impossible, but nothing could be further from the truth. To win, one must look within for new tools and unlock the hidden potential within. They'll find more strength than the old gods ever possessed through the infinite displays of sparks in our universe. Infinite Sparks, a part-time God's second edition companion, is a tome of brand new options for players and game masters alike, featuring a slew of new choices to reflect a god's mortal and divine lives, as well as the mythical soul-bound relics. How to handle dramatic tension and in-pantheon relationships in your game is covered. There's also more mortal choices, such as new archetypes and occupations, and unique individual, group, and landmark bonds. Additional divine options, bringing new worshiper types, divine allies, several relic creation rules, and even 9 brand new theologies. There are new optional rules for free time, wealth, and bonds. There are rules for including living artifacts, soulbound relics into your game. It also includes updated random character creation tables, combining all options from both Infinite Sparks and the part-time God's second edition core book. This 120-page PDF of Infinite Sparks is available at DriveThruRPG for $14.99. I did want to toss Eloy Lasanta a bit of a shout out for his Third Eye Games. Actually, I have to say that he was one of the first people I ever interviewed at a Gen Con. In fact, he may have been the first person that I interviewed at a Gen Con. So, wanted to share this. Part-Time Gods does pretty well for Third Eye Games. They do a PIP system for their role-playing games. It's been a long time since I saw a Third Eye Games role-playing game up close, so I forget the house system that they use, but it is called the PIP system. So Doug says at least I'm not saying it's his first time here. Yep, that was the running gag. Because it was like 2 or 3 shows. Doug would pop in, and it was like, "Hey, I think Doug's a first timer here." So Flaming Heart says, "Yeah, it's anything but your first time here. It's your second." All right, so there is the news for today. I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Let me once again point out that the gaming gang, thus the dispatch, is associated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those little portions, those nickels, dimes, and quarters do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also have to point out that don't just go to thegaminggang.com to click on a banner ad. I'm surprised by how many people just they're aware of the videos, they're aware of the video channel, but they don't know about the website. It's like the website's like the big driver. The website's what gets the traffic. And I'm sure there are people who probably go visit the website and never watch any of the videos either. So, haha. So Eddie T says they were checking out Symborum before the show, kind of like the art. Yes, I gave away 3 PDF copies on yesterday's show, and all the winners should have gotten a Dropbox link so that they could get their hands on them. Um, so Flaming Heron is pointing out that Humble Bundle has a Fallout RPG miniature game bundle. I ran across that. For one, the Fallout RPG isn't even out yet, so it's kind of like the Fallout Wasteland Warfare role-playing game, which isn't truly a Fallout role-playing game yet, because Modifius is going to have two of them, I guess. I don't know. I ran across it. I wasn't necessarily going to share it because I've shared a lot of the Fallout stuff, and I got to be honest, it gets no traction, for at least over at the website. The Fallout miniatures game gets almost no traction whatsoever. So I don't know. So Great Ace says that we are now at 3,960 subs. I think we're at 63 is the exact. I think that's the exact number. Although it's weird. It'll be like I'll drop 3 subscribers. It'll probably be tomorrow. This is just how YouTube always works. I'll drop 3 subscribers, and then a day after that, suddenly I get 5 back. So I don't know. A Great A points out that the Octon Cthulhu beta rules are out for free. The 2D20s. I believe they're going to have a quick start rules that is going to be coming out that will be absolutely free as well. I've told the Octon Cthulhu story before, so I will not share it again. So I don't want to be sitting here telling the same story all the time about Octon Cthulhu. Anyway, so something I noticed today, and I did want to mention. So if you have followed the Gaming Gang for a long time, back when even when I didn't really do videos, Victory Point Games and the Gaming Gang were really tight. We were really tight back in the day, especially because we were one of the only outlets who covered Victory Point Games releases at all. Because a lot of their stuff was kind of desktop published, Ziploc bag kind of games. Oh, there we go. There goes the little hair. Probably don't see it, but it's just what. And it was rising up. I was like, okay, so long. So I noticed today, because I have something hooked up with the website where if any of the links in the site, because if you visit thegaminggang.com, check out, say, a news piece or something like that, or one of the reviews, I always link to the company, whose game it is. I always link to the game page at that company's website, things like that, which amazingly enough, I'm one of the only outlets who actually does that. And to me, it's just common sense, right? If I'm sharing a news piece about a game and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm interested in that. I'd like to learn more about this. Why wouldn't you just put a link in the news piece, right? Like I do, and then allow your visitor to go visit that, of course, opening it up in a new window. I'm not trying to chase you off the website. Anyway, so I have this thing set up where if I have a broken link, it will tell me, which when game companies decide they're going to completely revamp their website with all of their links, that's a blast. So I get this notification that my link for Darkest Night 2nd Edition from Victory Point Games is no longer working. And a lot of times I'll get a notice for it for a broken link, and it's not really a broken link. It's just the website was down for a little bit. So anyway, I was like, okay, so click on it, go check it out. And sure enough, it goes to Victory Point Games and it tells me that that page doesn't exist. I'm like, wow. So I go and look, and sure enough, Darkest Night is no longer listed as a Victory Point game. So we have started to see a great example would be, do I have it nearby? Yes. I'm surprised because usually something I'm looking to grab is like, oh yeah, it's way over there. So as an example, I did my unboxing and first look at In Magnificent Style from Worthington Publishing. This originally, not a boxed version of it, although I think they may have done a second edition that had a small box. But this is from Worthington Publishing. This was originally a Victory Point game. It was not part of their States of Siege line, which was like their big one. So anyway, I also know that we have the Kickstarter going on right now for Keep Up the Fire. I shared the news piece earlier this week. Another Worthington Publishing release. In fact, I'll be interviewing my pal John Welsh. So that will be up next Tuesday. So as I mentioned, I'm trying to do some more interviews, and I'm gonna post them on Tuesdays. So hopefully we'll kind of get a little thing going. But that was also a Victory Point Games release. So what I'm kind of curious now, Eddie T, or I should say Mr. Eddie T, is saying that Worthington is taking all of their games. That is not the case. So Great A is asking, where's Alan Emmerich? Alan's gone. Alan sold the company. Alan sold the company a while ago. Victory Point Games is owned by Tabletop Tycoon, who I no longer provide coverage for. Which is too bad because Starling Games is under that umbrella for Tabletop Tycoon. And I'm not going to, it's inside baseball stuff. I am not going to get into the reason behind it. I mean, there are a lot of people who are not keen on Tabletop Tycoon because they were Game Salute. And back when they were known as Game Salute, I used to get emails from Game Salute all the time from their PR person saying, Jeff, we want you to cover our games. Hey, man, tell us what you want to check out. We'll get it over to you. And I'd be like, okay, 2 or 3 things. Nothing. And then a few months later, I'd be like, hey, get this, like, hey, Jeff, we really want to. Like, dude, how many times are you going to ask me to pick out some stuff to review and then you never send it? It's like, what the? But there were other things that, you know, I think they did some Kickstarters they didn't fulfill, and that's why they're now called Tabletop Tycoon. And anyway, so yes, Alan sold Victory Point Games, and that took place, gosh, that was a couple years back, because I actually ran into Alan. Well, no, I take that back. I think it was Alan's wife I ran into at Gen Con. She was actually running demos of Dawn of the Zeds. It was either Gen Con or Origins. I think it was Gen Con when I ran into her. But I did see Alan. I did see Alan at, maybe that was Gen Con. Anyway, regardless, one convention I ran into his wife, and she was running Dawn of the Zeds. And a friend of mine in the industry who I got to know through Starling Games, Brenna Noonan, she was kind of overseeing Starling and Victory Point Games and stuff like that. And it was kind of interesting. So, because Alan and I had kind of a falling out. And I like Alan. Don't get me wrong. Alan's a great person. I'm the kind of person where, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I think of a game. Like, I'm going to be right up front, I haven't even reviewed this yet, but I'm going to tell you that this is a $75 game. I don't think this is a $75 game. I got to play it a little more because it's been a while since I had played it. I played it one time already, so I'm not ready to review it yet. But I think comparing it to other games that go for $75, and yes, I know it's a war game. It's a niche of a niche hobby. But I still think so. I just believe in being upfront and being honest. So if there were things like a game came out from Victory Point Games that I would give an honest opinion on, that maybe I didn't care for it, or there was something I didn't think was all that great, Alan would get pissed. It was like, because they were his babies. There was one game designed by Ty Bomba. I'll never forget it. Boom and Zoom, or Zoom and Boom, or Zoom, whatever, something. Personally, I thought it was awful. I was like, you guys are doing like Napoleon 20, and then you're releasing a game like that. Or like they did a game from Nathan Hansen, who was not really a game designer. And it was Dogs of War. It was a dogfighting game that the pilots were actually dogs. So it was like World War I dogfights, and the pilots were dogs. I was kind of like, why don't you just make this a World War I dogfighting game and just leave the humans in place? And of course it flopped. Boom and Zoom flopped. So, anyway, so this is what I think is going on. I'm not positive, but I think, once again, I'll do a little inside baseball here. So from my understanding, the deal that Victory Point Games had with the designers was effectively that the designers could take their game to another publisher if they wanted to. I won't discuss what they were getting paid for their designs, but personally, I always thought it was very low. So I think what happened is when Alan sold Victory Point Games to Tabletop Tycoon, those contracts carried over. And so basically, like Darkest Night second edition, isn't it Jeremy Leonard, I think, is the designer? I think he can take that someplace else because it's no longer in print. And I think that's the case. So, like, Dawn of the Zeds. Now, I don't know. I did not discuss this in great detail with my good buddy Herman Lettman, who is the designer of Dawn of the Zeds. But I do know that he, at Origins, went and sat down with the folks from Tabletop Tycoon, and I think he signed a new contract with them for that game. So essentially, it looks like Victory Point Games will have Dawn of the Zeds, Nemo's War, what is it, The Trial of Louis Riel, which did not go over anywhere. I think there's like 5 games now that the Victory Point Games website is showing are their games. I think everything else is completely out there. So I think if designers want to shop stuff around, they can. You're going to hear it from me. Now, I don't know if Steve Carey's really around. I don't know if any of you really remember Steve Carey. Steve Carey designed 2 games in the States of Siege line for Victory Point Games, and they were excellent. They were games that really pushed the whole States of Siege idea way, way out there. Along with Dawn of the Zeds, because Dawn of the Zeds, even though it's not really a States of Siege game, it's a States of Siege game. It's just not, it was never considered part of that line. And Cruel Necessity, which is designed by my friend Sean Welsh. I would love to see Steve Carey take We Must Tell the Emperor and Malta, that Scorpion of the Sea, to someone like Worthington Publishing, Holland Spiel. I don't think GMT would jump into those because they are kind of smaller footprint games. But you could put together a deluxe edition, just like, this in magnificent style is a deluxe edition. Keep Up the Fire, which is a States of Siege game. It is a deluxe edition that's up on Kickstarter right now for $59. So great. It's like $75. I'll stay with my original. A Great A says Alan Emmerich's website is gone as well. I don't know. To be honest, I had never been to Alan's website, or if I had, I forget. So Great A says, I think they went downhill when they purchased the fancy printer and laser cutter. I think part of it, and once again, I love Alan. I think Alan's a great guy. Alan gets mad at me, because, I share my opinion. I don't just sit there and be like, everybody. I think they devoted way too much development time into stuff that just was never going to go anyplace. I think that was part of the problem. But I don't know, it probably just got to the point where it was just, all of it was just too much of a pain in the ass for Alan. And he figured, okay, once again, I do not know anything about like what went on behind the scenes, but I do have a feeling that when Alan sold Victory Point Games to Tabletop Tycoon, I always want to say Tycoon Tabletop. I don't know why. I think Alan was under the impression that all the people who worked for VPG in their office, Alan as well, were all going to kind of stay on, still doing their jobs. And once the ink was dry on the contract, or, whatever was signed, Tabletop Tycoon was like, okay, well, you're all out of here. I think that's what happened. Like I said, I don't know, but it's just the vibe I got. All right. So Gary Clarkson says, I want Dawn of the Zeds too. I love Dawn of the Zeds. I have to say, I think if I had to look back on it, my favorite edition of Dawn of the Zeds is actually the second edition. The third edition, when they added in the extra track, which is through like the sewers or whatever, and you can get lost and all this, I think it got to the point where they threw in just a bit too much. There was just too much going on. And even Herman, I won't even, once again, there's things that I don't feel comfortable sharing that I know. But even Herman felt that there was just, there was too much stuff in it. And some of it wasn't even things that he had designed. So, but the third edition is the one you can pick up, and it's got the best component quality. It's a lot of fun. I still really, really dig that game. In fact, the first Dawn of the Zeds that came out, and it was in a bigger Ziploc bag, was my game of the year back in, was it 2011? And people got pissed. They were like, are you out of your mind? How could that? Because remember, it was like desktop publishing kind of component quality. They're like, how the F is that your game of the year? I was like, because it's a lot of fun. It's like playing a zombie movie. Stuff that happens in zombie movies happen in the game. So Kabuki Kid says it's Louis Real. Real? Real? I don't. Yeah, it's the trial of them. So Kabuki Kid says they want Imperial Stars 2 reprinted. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Imperial Stars. A Great A says Worthington has Malta on a production list as a deluxe product that's coming soon. A Great A, is it Malta? Is it Malta, that scorpion of the sea? Is that what it's saying? I'm just kind of curious. I don't know. So anyway, so I was just talking. Basically, I just wanted to share the fact that I think if you are a strategy gamer, if you're like a conflict sim gamer, and you've been sitting there like, oh man, I wish some of those, a little better component quality, you might start seeing a lot more of them. I thought it was very interesting. We had it in magnificent style. Now we've got to keep up the fire. Cruel Necessity, I'm not positive if that is still with Victory Point Games or not. I will ask John when I interview him, and we'll get to the bottom of that as well. All righty. So I just wanted to share that because if you visit thegaminggang.com, you'll see, if you look at some of our older reviews, which I'm actually on occasion popping a few like blasts from the past to Twitter to share some of the various different older reviews. So Grade A says, it says Malta 1942 Deluxe by Steve Carey. There you go. That's it. Nice. But yes, the official name of that, if I'm almost positive I'm remembering this correctly, it might have been Malta 1942, but I thought it was Malta, that scorpion of the sea. Very cool. Good to know. Good to see that. Excellent. Thank you for checking that out at Grade A. Speaking of Worthington, they're going to be sending Dawn of Battle when that's available. So kind of cool. All right, let's talk about the contest real quick because there are 5 contests currently going on for the month of February. First one, super easy. You can find out how do you win this copy of Nidavellir from Gree Games and Hachette Games. I don't know if it's actually pronounced Gree Games, but it's Grrre. Taking a stab. Anyway, this is not going to be available in stores until April, but I've got this copy that I'm going to be giving away. And all you got to do to learn how to get in the running, check out the review. I tell you right in the review video how you can get in the running to win my copy. All right, so I've got 2 contests that are Twitter-based. I've got 2 that are YouTube-based. So first off, if I can hit 7,000 followers on Twitter by the end of the month, all these contests run till the end of the month, I will give away 2 PDFs as well as 1 physical copy of, actually it's 3 PDFs. I'm thinking of last night's contest. 3 PDFs as well as this copy in my hands to 4 lucky winners, basically. And it is Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Got to point out, this isn't out in stores yet. It is going to be in stores very soon. I think it might be later this month is when it's finally going to be hitting game stores. So I've got that. All right. So also, if I hit 4,500 subscribers on YouTube, which as of last glance, I am at 3,963. If I can hit 4,500 subscribers on YouTube, Basic Fantasy, but I'm not giving away this hardcover edition of Basic Fantasy Oh no. I am actually going to give away all 13 basic fantasy books that are available in print from Amazon. So I know it's kind of maybe. Can we get there? I don't know. But it is a contest I got running. So check that out. So, as far as the YouTube contest, all you have to do is be a subscriber and comment on any video before the end of the month. That's it. So, I have the date that these contests started, which were the first time. So, so that's it. I mean, pretty simple. The Twitter contests are a little more difficult. So, I do want to point out with the Twitter contests, you have to be a follower. You have to like the special contest tweet. You have to retweet the contest tweet and tag a friend. It's all right there in the tweet. You can see it. It's not difficult to figure out. In fact, a lot of people on Twitter do contests this way. But if I can get to 7,500 followers on Twitter, I'll be giving away the standard art cover of Dungeons and Dragons Candlekeep Mysteries from Wizards of the Coast, which, if memory serves, hit stores, I think it's March 16th. So I will do everything in my power to make sure that it is in the winner's hand or hands. Hopefully they've got two. Although they don't have to have two. But if they do have two, it'd be hands. On the day it comes out. So that is the Twitter contest for D&D Candlekeep Mysteries. The YouTube contest is if I can hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I will give away the alternate art edition of Candlekeep Mysteries. Because normally, Wizards of the Coast sends me both. And if for some strange reason they don't, then I'll just purchase it and send it. So, and cool thing about these contests too is that I'll ship it anywhere that I can ship from the US. So if you live someplace that you can receive shipments from the United States of America, you can be in the running. Yes, even Australia. I will take the hit if somebody from Australia wins. It'd be like, yep, here's the basic fantasy books that cost $70 total. It's around that. And I'll pay the $140 to ship it. All right. Anyway, so a Great A asks, what's the Delta FH on the Twitter subs? 4,500. So Flaming Heron's like, I'm what now? So the Man points out that, yes, we just cracked 6,800 followers on Twitter today. So I did see that earlier today. I got to be honest. I'm terrible at these social media things. I'm just awful at promotion completely. Give you a great example. Yeah, we can chat a little bit because it's the last show of the week. So I ran that contest yesterday. We had a good number of people watching live. So when that stream ended, I took a peek. And YouTube's kind of odd because they'll say there was so many watching, and then a little while later, it's less. Whatever. But according to YouTube, we had something like 44 viewers during the stream. No, that's not so bad. Especially, it's me, you know. Come on. People aren't knocking down the doors to hang out and watch the show, right? But as of today, I think I'm only at, before I went live, I think I'm at like 75 views on it. On that video, it's like, wow, that video is really performing poorly. And I did a contest last night that you had to be watching live to win. Very weird. So, Grady says, note to self, the madman is the numbers guy. So Flaming Heron says, if everyone who followed on Twitter subscribes to YouTube and vice versa, yeah, I know, but it just doesn't happen. It just does not happen. And I've said it before, I honestly think outside of a few people on Twitter, I have the least involved followers anywhere. I mean, I'll ask a question and I get, 2, 3 answers. It's like, okay, I'll do a poll asking about something and I might get, 7 or 8 answers. Out of, well, at that point, it was probably about 6,500 followers on Twitter. Anyway, it's all right. It's no big deal. It's not something that I sit there and go, oh yeah, I got 6,800 followers on Twitter as of today. Ooh, what do you got? Doesn't matter. Come on. Anyway, Kabuki Kid says, sorry, she's just not a social media person. So Grady says, my audience is too refined for Twitter. Yeah. Don't see that. Although, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Twitter really has become a shithole. It really has. So Gary says they enjoy my Twitter content. They can see it from work. Yeah, you on Twitter, really, the most part, all it is the news pieces getting posted up there. It's just through an auto poster. And then, of course, I'll say, hey, join me on tonight's show. I'll have news from blah, 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 blah. So it's like, I'm not sitting there like, oh, hey, everybody, here's what I'm having for lunch today. No, nothing like that. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, let me remind you, if you like this video, so if you're watching live, you should like this video because you watch live. Give the video a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because it'll not only let you know when I stream the Dispatch live Monday through Thursday nights, sharing the latest in gaming news, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as this weekend's unboxing and first look at Battle of the Bulge 1944 from Worthington Publishing. Told you I got a bunch of Worthington Publishing stuff. So this will be up this weekend. I will have some other goodies. I should probably have video number 3 in my So You Want to Be a Game Master series. So I should have that up as well. So everybody enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever day it happens to be that you're watching this. Of course, those of you who watch live, thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedules to just hang out, pass time with me. I do know that people out there don't always have an opportunity to watch live. Maybe you catch the Dispatch on Memorex. I don't know. Regardless, I definitely appreciate you taking time out to watch as well. So, like I said, everybody have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, let me also hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching. And everybody, please wear a mask.